We're gonna have some fun because I gotta do this. You gotta bring me down, man, I'm loud. It's an hour presentation that I'm back there just chopping up with a meat axe, getting it down so that we could do it, but we're gonna go fast. So what I wanna do is go ahead and just, we got it up, first slide. I got the clicker, I'm the guy. Okay, do we get it bigger or? There we go. Okay, I can do this. As a young child, I was born in '61. At that time, movies, everything at my eye level, it was the tail fins of every Cadillac had a rocket going to somewhere. We had the man on the moon by the time I was about 7 years old. Star Trek comes. All of this stuff, the inspiration, the promise that we were given stayed with me my entire life. I have been waiting for now, but I'm going to tell you it's going to build up to cryptocurrencies. And the reason is because until we had the power to fund and do what we wanted, it wasn't going to happen because the man is not going to be doing this for us. They don't want us independent. They don't want us free. They don't want us gone. They don't want us to be able to leave. They don't want us to be able to do what we want to do when we want to do it without a permission slip from them. And a lot of you young guys don't even understand this reference. I am so sick of the mindset that we have to go to the blue pages before we do anything. Well, you young guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. When you had the yellow pages and the white pages, when we used to get, every year or so, you get this big stack of whatever at your front door. In the beginning, you had the yellow pages, all the business, everything that you wanted to do. Now you just go online. In the white pages, you had people listed. In the front of the white pages, little bitty sliver of blue pages. This was the federal government. This was the government pages. This is where you went for your permission slip to, I wish I could, and maybe I can, and can I have permission? Where's the application? That is no longer. You don't need to go to the blue pages to do it. You just do it. There's somewhere in the world, there's some place, there's something. I don't even want you to have the mindset that you need to go get a permission slip. That's what's good about Anarchapulco. On a lot of the chairs, we had hundreds of these that we put out, and these are the letters of Captain Mark. Now, I'll go over these, but I just want to give you an idea of what we're doing. Okay, can we go to the... Now, this was the cars that were, as a little kid, at eye level, imagine 3, 4, 5 years old, you could look at it and you go, that's not a rocket engine, that's an exhaust pipe. I got ripped off, man. But what were they appealing to? They were appealing to the imagination that people, had. This is Forbidden Planet 1959. This is like the Avatar back then. It was an awesome movie. Those that haven't seen it, you go see how this had an inspiration on kids like me. The Jetsons. I went to buy a season of the Jetsons for my little grandkids. I got 11 grandkids now. So I go, hey, they got to get inspired with the Jetsons. Rosie the robot. I'm going to show them what's up. So I do that, $29 for a season on Netflix of what I'm going, are you freaking kidding? You're getting it from me too, you sons of bitches. Because I know the power of this kind of stuff. I grew up with this on the moon, Earth risings on the horizon of the moon. A lot of you young guys, you take this stuff for granted, but hell, we haven't even been back since then. So then you have Enterprise come. That's Star Trek. We're all Star Trekked up, man. If you can think of it, man, they were doing it, and all of a sudden now you're buying it at Walmart. So Star Trek. Then they had next one. I'm going to go fast through these. So go ahead and keep it up on there. There we go. 2001, The Space Odyssey. Now, what was different about this? Keep in mind, this is what, 68 or so. When they did this, when they went to it, it was in a Pan American shuttle. This is Pan American on there. As a kid, we were not as brainwashed in the same way that they are now. Now, oh hell no, if it's not government done, it ain't going to get done. I'm going, no. I grew up knowing that. Of course it was going to be a private company. Hopefully it's not out of business, but you have a private company. Now what's the next one? The Hilton, this was a Hilton space station. This was not America. This was not international whatever. We knew these were private entities because of market forces that we were going to be able to buy it because somebody was making money doing it. So when they went to Enterprise and they go in with the space shuttle in the 70s, it looked like this one. Then God, man, this thing is, it looked just like that. So I'm going, hey, man, we're going. But then after the space shuttle, in the 80s, they start flying it. That was the 1980s space shuttle. In the 1990s, they had space shuttle. In 2000s, we had another space shuttle. In 2010, we got a space. This is innovation on government. Decades and decades of the same shit. So I'm going, no, hell no. There's a bunch. Hopefully these slides, we just really slammed this together, so I want to make sure I get a lot of this. But there is, SpaceX now just put on Falcon Heavy. They have 3 of them go. 3 of them come back to land. The middle one kind of, didn't make it and whatever, they didn't care. 2 of them come back to Florida and land. I don't know if it's Kennedy or Canaveral now, I can't keep track. But anyway, so they come down, they land almost simultaneously, and they were reused rocket first stages from previous launches. All of a sudden, it becomes the cost of kerosene and liquid oxygen to go to space. What do you think is going to happen? Do you even know? Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos. A lot of people don't even know Jeff Bezos at Amazon has his own spaceport in West Texas. He's ready to go. He's already gone, done, launched, and kind of been tourist, and here we go. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, I didn't want to cut out, is communication is going to be a big thing. The communication of quantum communications, when you have quantum entanglement between particles that were created at the same event and one affects the other and blah, 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 blah. The Chinese did this last summer. That means when you talk into something, I tell you what it is, it's this. Subspace communication, Star Trek. You always wonder, how the hell is it you're talking in real time with somebody at Starbase, whatever the hell, and they're 50 gazillion light years away? I call bullshit on that, okay? So what happens is with quantum entanglement, whatever you do here, it immediately affects the other particle without regard to distance. I could go on, and often do, but not today. Now, here we have CubeSats. This was a Kickstarter that started, I don't know, years ago. I was paying attention. We have freedomsphoenix.com is our website, and my radio show is Declare Your Independence with Ernie Hancock. Now, on the website, we've been doing since 05, radio since 03. So I've been doing this a while. I'm an activist from back in the late 80s. I was one of you young guys back in the day. And what was I waiting on? You! This! Now, the time. It is, I had a real good idea in my head up to 2016 what was going to happen. I go, by the time our kids are our age at the time, this is like late 80s, I'm going, by the time our kids are our age now, they're about, from 27, 28 to 32, around in there now, and I have 11 grandkids, and I go, I know what's going to happen. It was going to get to the point of what happened in 16, and then I have no freaking idea what's going to happen except one thing. I'm going to be busting my ass to make sure that my grandchildren, by the time they get to their late 20s, they're building our way and going up. We have already have crashed. We'll already have seen the dollar go. We'll already have seen, and all that is an opportunity for us to go whip ass. So I'm like, they are part of this rebuild. And I'm counting on you to help, because I know you want to, because it's cool. All right, so go to the next slide. Now, these CubeSats, this is a triple stack. Now, where you had to put a bus up in orbit before, now you'd put up a smartphone. These things are small, man, and they're putting ion thrusters on them. What that means is that they can get a little closer, 30 feet closer than the other guy, into a little bit of atmosphere and overcome with a little bit of thrust so they can have lower latency. How fast can you do a transaction? Elon Musk announced that he's putting up 4,200 like Mini Coopers. I mean, these are big satellites. The CubeSats are going up by vector launch systems out of Tucson. It's a single, stage or 2-stage that's going up and putting CubeSats up. They have Spaceship 1, Spaceship 2, Spaceship, we're putting up a bunch of CubeSats. Now, this is in the next year or two. I bet you within 3 years, and I'm being conservative saying 3 years, you will have ubiquitous Wi-Fi service over the planet that 20 millisecond latency and a gig up-down bandwidth. Then what? Then what? You know, the man ain't gonna dig it, I'm telling you. So these are, this big for scale, and then they're going smaller. They call them femtosats or something like that. The sun sats if we can get them down to this side, why can't we make them this side? Hell, why can't we make them dust? And, this is where we're going. You guys think when the Star Trek and they go, well, we'll have warp engines the size of walnuts. No, that'll be impossible. I'm telling you guys, this is coming. Now, a bunch of other slides. Now, this is, the one on the end, the big one, is a NASA project they were thinking of doing. After they launched Falcon Heavy, they're probably going to cancel it. Way too expensive, doesn't do what it wanted, they add next. Now, those other three next to Saturn V, that is Blue Origin. That's Jeff Bezos' monsters that they're doing. Now, there's another one on here called BFR, for Big Falcon Rocket, okay? That's the one that's going to be, now what they're doing, Elon's talking about, is he's going, yeah, this would be cool, and we go to Mars and stuff, but you know where we're going to really make the money? Is we're going to have 20, 30 minutes from anywhere on the planet to anywhere on the planet. You just take off and land, and we're done. And it's fully reusable, like it's a 747 or something. Seriously, and you guys are worried? Screw the man. We're going to blaze past, we're going plaid, okay? Now, there's some other, you got to keep it up there, man. Now, this is a small one that's made out of Tucson. I can go on about that, too. Planetary resources. They're sending out satellites to survey asteroids so they can mine them. Because I'll take that platinum asteroid right there, thank you very much. We'll see what happens. That's going to happen. But what would George Jetson drive? Because this whole thing was about me having a flying car. Where's my freaking flying car? It's called a PAL V out of the Netherlands, I think it is, and it's a gyrocopter that kind of folds up. It's kind of cool. Now, this was already done in Dubai this last summer. They just announced they had their 1,000th flight. You order it on your smartphone, it lands, you get in, it takes you somewhere. Next. Feel me? Now this is a new one. It's called the Lydia, whatever, who cares? This is they're going from a 2-seater now to a 5-seater. They're little ducted fans, and they've already had robot test flights and so on. That might be one that's kind of cool. This one is kind of a car, plane, it's pretty, but you're not going to get a second date in that one, I don't think. So then you have the Terrafuega TFX. Now they already had an airworthy past FAA, blah, 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 other one that's kind of ugly. But this one is cool. You get a third date on this one. Now, the point that we're making in the Pirates Without Borders is the decentralization of everything. Communication, which includes communicating prices. That's where we put cryptos. Energy, shelter, health, food, water, transportation, automation, robots, and education. Now, in every single one of these, this is shelter. Now, what this is, it's a 4x8 piece of plywood up in the corner up there. You put it on a CNC, it comes out. You do that enough times, you build houses. Boom, 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 boom. Well, we started doing it with domes. I have a stamp press. You'll see in there, chunk, 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 chunk. We can make. Adam Kokesh came and made 5 domes in 20 hours. Put them up on his thing. He's doing kind of, I'm like, you don't need to run for not president, man. You need to start making more domes. I need to have, So we've been doing this for years, and I'm having a lot of fun with this because what do we need? I just want to be left alone. I want some leave me aloneism. I want to be able to raise my family and have fun with my grandchildren. I want to be not too hot, not too cold, not too wet. I want to be not too hungry, not too thirsty. I want to be, how hard is this? With the technology that's coming out now, it's not. And that's what I'm thinking that the man is afraid of. They're afraid of you being autonomous. They're afraid of you not needing them. They're afraid of you going, you're not just going to be off grid, you're going to be above the grid. Because what is the point? A pirate ship, when you go 62 miles, it's 100 kilometers up. All government jurisdiction is gone. 62 miles up. The border's only 62 miles away. Seriously. Okay, next. Now we're talking about power. That's a hell of a lot closer to Phoenix or Acapulco, We have power. These are our magazine covers for our magazines. We have an e-zine. You go to freedomsphoenix.com. At the top, you'll see our newspaper. You'll see magazine and the radio show and stuff up there. But we did these magazines over a few years, and we just drilled down on the tech of how to make your own power, how to grow your own food, how to do different things. Now, one thing that I did, the thing about energy is not how much you can make it or anything. It's the decentralization nature of it. They'll go like this. They'll say, the solar that you buy your battery pack of whatever, and you get your solar, and it costs this much, and it'll take 20 years for you to recoup it. And I go, God, you're confusing me with somebody who gives a shit, man. That's not the point. It's off their freaking grid. That's what the point is. How much am I willing to pay, especially after, crypto took a jump? How much am I willing to pay for me to be off of their grid? I don't need you. I don't have a bill comes to my address. I don't even need a post office box. Bite me. The only person who knows where I'm at is the UPS guy. All right. Now, what I did, this is my barn at my home here. Now, this depicts, you'll see the little picture in the little picture, that was Norman Rockwell, 1930 or something, did a thing about Yankee ingenuity, get your workbench and save America, okay? And I remembered that, seeing that or something. So what we did is we depicted this as my lab. Now it's just, I do a lot of things. Everybody's like, oh man, well, how far are you on this? I go, look, it's called quantum reality. If I take one step towards it, all of a sudden, boom, it's everywhere. You heard Jeff talking about that. That is why I do so many of these things, because I know what's going to happen. They go, well, you're not going to make them. I don't want to make them. I want to buy them. I just want to make sure somebody's making them get bought. So I'll go in, what did I do? I grew carbon nanotubes in a tube furnace using acetylene, like when you do a torch and you light a torch, you're going to cut something with a blowtorch. You light it, and poof, and you see this little black soot that comes up. What you're doing at about 800 degrees Celsius and lower, a lot of times it's low, doesn't matter. You heat it and you break that bond between the carbon and the hydrogen. I vent off the hydrogen, I take the carbon, I got a catalyst, I put on and I grow carbon nanotubes. Why? Because it gives me enormous surface area for nickel iron batteries. And I go, the first one I made, I did in like 3 months, I go, boom! Now I don't have to make it. I put on the internet, man, people went, oh, hell yeah. And I'm going, you just keep going. Now it's aluminum. Aluminum and lithium and battery. The technology is going stupid. This Christmas I did with my nephews came from New York. I go, we'll go in and we'll make some. That day was a formula for how to do it with aluminum and lithium, and it's a lot better and faster and cheaper and, and it charges in seconds and lasts forever and yada, 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 rock and roll. So am I going to be spending all my time doing that? No! I want to inspire people to do it. All of this stuff, the decentralization of everything. It's a philosophy, it's a goal, it's a way of living. And I just want to inspire. Now, we've done it through a lot of things. And, okay, let's go. Now, this was an edition that we did on schooling, on education. And we're going, look, man, it's going to be a teacher and 3 kids with a laptop. But you'll see, on top of the bridge, there's an airship. I have been doing this for a long time, but I understood what was coming. We need to defend Generation Next. This is how I see them. They're freaking geniuses, and they're going to want to barcode and examine them and do them and give them pledging, and they always pick the Hitler Youth age of junior high, of puberty, and DARE programs of, yeah, Dad, I'm raging against the authority, and Dad did it, and here's a DARE program to turn them in. I mean, this is the mindset that they got us in. So I'm going, no. And what do they want to do? There's going to be robots. But why am I so optimistic? Now, in this one, they'll just skip to the end and just cut and put a chip in. I understand. Why am I still so optimistic? Because of the tech that's coming. I was burned bad in '94. I had to have grafts on my arm and everything. If this was there then, a skin cell, they just spray on, boom, problem solved. I've been seeing the development of this for a long time. Now, when I look at Star Trek, he had spray bottles. What the hell has he got spray bottles for? Now we know why. He's fixing burns, man. It's all good. So we have, how to make a heart. They take a heart, they bleach out all the cells, they put in stem cells, it starts beating. Already done it with mice. Now, they've already started to implant, years ago, this is what, '06? They put bladders into people, they've done tracheas, they're done, they want to do a head transplant now. Of course. I saw it on Futurama. I can do it, put me in Android, it's all good. They froze a mammalian brain, the first time it's a rabbit brain, and brought it back without damage, okay? Now, what does this mean? This means cryosleep. Of course, I saw it on Star Trek. Don't think so? As a kid, everything, what do we not have? Warp drive and transporters, as far as you know? Man, don't laugh, man. I'm telling you, this stuff is coming. And when I need to get home, from my little space pod, I just jump. And of course, I saw that on a Star Trek too, So this is Red Bull, them doing the space jump, Bigelow Aerospace, he owns budget suites and hotels. Well, a lot of people didn't know in like 05, 06, he paid $70 million to a Russian rocket to put up his space station. Now, this isn't the one that they put up, but they're inflatable. Well, he had Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 has been up doing tens of thousands of orbits, and have you even heard of it? Where's the 7-year-old second grade kid going, yeah? Nope. Wouldn't be prudent at that juncture. So this is the future. This is what we're looking. This is all that, when we did this edition, it was the future. How are we going to get to where we want to be? It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy of not fixing their broken down piece of crap system. It's blazing past them. It's going plaid. This is going to happen. How can you be part of it? I don't know. It's not my problem. Be part of it. But I tell you, some of you got some crypto, man. You just sit around thinking what you might do with it. Go ahead and go to the slides. Now, yeah, this is us chopping it up. Let's see what happened. Boom, we don't have to worry about it anymore, whatever. Now, how much time do I have? Wow, really? Damn. Well, you're lucky the slides went out. Now, what has happened, this is what I wanted to do. 2 things I want to mention, 3 things. One, a good friend of mine, Tim Pachote, he's a financial advisor at Scottsdale. He's going to be speaking at the TDV event. And what he's come up, we had a party this last summer, and a guy came up to me and he goes, my mother died, and he's an older guy, he's in his 60s. He goes, my mother died, left me a bunch of money. I bought 100 Bitcoin when they were $800, okay? So he's like, they went up. He goes, I don't have any children. I don't have, anybody to leave them to. I wanted to promote freedom. And I'm like, oh, you won't give them to me, just give them to me, man. Be over that. But we started thinking, I'm going, how would you perpetuate that? How would you be able to bring the crypto into the system? How would you be able to do a foundation of trust, of this, of that, and so on? And Tim was at the party, and I go, Tim, what up? He's been spending months that he's getting ready to present to you guys Monday on how you can take your crypto and not pay capital gains on it, not have taxes on it. I'm going, man, you need to talk to Tim, okay? And be all legit, whatever the hell that means. Okay, now in the front of this newsletter that we have our Bitcoin Cash projects, okay, that we're doing. One of them, Roger Ver, has graciously donated or pledged the first $10,000 he's going to match. And what it's for is Checkpoint USA. A good friend of mine, Terry Bressy, am I being detained? Am I allowed to leave? Suspicionless checkpoints, if I'm no, hell no. Well, a lot of people don't know. He went all the way to the Ninth Circuit, and he won $250,000. And they go, thank you for teaching us how to screw you, and they just kept doing it. So now he's doing a class action lawsuit. He's been funding this whole thing all this time, 15 years. And I go, no, hell no, we're going to help you. Now, these QR codes, you can just go blip and give them some Bitcoin Cash, give them $1, just make them feel good. Then we have some others in here. We have a Bitcoin Cash race car. That is Logan. It's a sprint car with the wings on it and so on. It's being wrapped right now. This is something we've been working on for months out of Phoenix. That's going to be fun. Jury box. We have a pirate jury box. It's a Wi-Fi server that when you do hit your Wi-Fi, it just says jury information. And it's backed up with batteries. Where we might put that? In maybe a courthouse somewhere or something? This is James Babb out of Philadelphia. He's going, oh, hell yeah. So we had Fiji speak at our Freedom Summit a couple of weeks ago. They've already started to pimp this out. You just take and you put all this jury information anywhere near the parking lot of a courthouse, and all of a sudden the jurors, they're going to do the same thing you do. Look for the Wi-Fi, jury info, okay, what the hell? Boom, they start learning. Yeah, you think the man's going to like that? Probably not. Cameron, what you see there is a guy has been doing, I wish I had time to put him up here. What I did, this was the big idea. I want to make sure you guys know about this. They go, Ernie, how did you get that? We did the Spaceship One, Government Zero. When Spaceship One went up, we had the sign, Spaceship One, Government Zero. It's on top of the spacecraft. The astronauts do it. The first one in 04 June that went to space without a penny of government money. So what happens? That goes planetary, except in the U.S. Why? We're in a battle. They don't want you to be inspired. When you go to the supermarket, you don't have science fiction categories anymore. Even when Blockbuster used to be around and you got the VHS and you go in, it had sci-fi and it got merged into action and horror. It's like they don't want you imagining anything different. So I'm going, yeah, well, we're going to imagine. It's a big idea. You go on pirateswithoutborders.com, go into the forum, you'll have the introduction, you go, and it's a big idea. What I did, we started, and that's a long story, but the point was recently we did this, and I wanted to have an airship. I mean, a pirate's got to have a ship, man. Because what are you going to do? It's like Serenity. I live on it. You know, I ship. You know, Seasteading's going to have somebody bring him crap, right? You know, so I'm just, and 62 miles up, I'm free. SpaceX sells their Merlin engines after 10 uses. They're going to start hitting a secondary market. Oh, me. So you put them on there. Fine, cool. How big is this thing? Bigger than the Hindenburg. It's over 1,000 feet long. It's a building in the air. Because I freaking can. So what happens? I put it up. I go, here's the artwork that we came up with. This is kind of the idea. This is what it looks like. You go and you'll see. Now, the thing is that I wanted to make sure that it was a product of you. So a lot of people went on. I tell you, I give props to Larkin Rose because Larkin was doing the mirror project on Blender. He was on, talking, yeah, we need a project like that. We need to use that software. How easy is that to use? We could do kind of. Listeners to that show, as a fan of Larkin, went in and they started mocking up the precariat. Now, the reason we call it the precariat, this is a Luke Radowski thing. A few years ago, he's at Bilderberger, and he had a thing on there, we got to deal with this precariat, the populist uprising, Brexit, Trump. We're like, what the hell is going on? Now, the precariat's in our face. And I'm like, precariat? What the hell is a precariat? So I looked it up, in the United Kingdom, a guy named Guy Standing, he was a economics guy, he wrote a book, and he mentioned the precariat. And what he was talking about is this like proletariat thing, the workers, that they're young people with enormous student debt, they have no job, they're being commercialized and want the next everything, and they live a precarious existence. And I go, hell yeah, we're the precariat. We're a precarious existence, okay? But pirates are not necessarily whether you're good or bad or rape or pillage or something like that. That's not the definition by the Crown. As we watch all the movies and we started doing the history and we started coming up with stories and we started getting the lingo. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'll finish on this one. What we wanted to do is that the idea was that if you were a pirate or privateer for the Crown, if you're, the King of England, you want to go rape and pillage and beat the living crap out of them, whatever, that Spanish galleon, that's cool as long as I get a cut. Then you're a privateer, you're good, you got a letter of marque, all right? So I go, no. What happens when the guy goes, I'm not part of any crown. I'm against all flags. I'm just over here minding my business. Pirate. You are a freaking pirate because you're not under a flag. Well, I'm not under a flag. I raise my black banner, okay? So that means I'm a pirate, and we're defining ourselves as pirates, and it's all in these newsletters. Hopefully you take the time, and I love being at Anarchapulco. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ernie Hancock.
There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people
to see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, the state will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that it's right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Freedom still arrives.
Vacate the state. Engage all the speakers. And get this man a microphone.
Fun isn't something that one considers when eradicating tyranny. But this does put a smile on my face.
Who the hell are you guys?